So next up, we are going to work on pockets. Pockets are very, very simple. But there's a couple of little tricks that you need to know. So for our first pocket, we are going to cut a piece of cardstock that is 6 inches by 3.5. And as you know, I'm still on scraps. We haven't cut into a new piece yet, but we're going to have to in a minute. Okay, so 6 by 3.5. And we're going to score this on 3 sides. So you're going to start with your 6-inch side at the top of your scoreboard, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch. Okay, you're going to turn this so that the 3.5 is now at the top, and score again at 1/2 inch. Okay, you're going to turn one more time and score at 1/2 inch. It's not food time, Gus. Okay, so this one, we're just doing a very basic pocket. We're not doing a flap, we're not making it expanding, we're not doing a closure. It's just a pocket. Okay, so we are going to do some mitering, and I want to show you. Okay, so we have our score line that comes here, our score line that comes here. Okay, so that is the bottom of the pocket. Okay, you really can't see those. I'm going to do it with paper, just, oh, that was weird. Just so we can see them a little better. Okay, there we go. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to cut through where those score lines cross. Okay, so if you're looking at it, kind of turn sideways, so it's a kind of a wonky X. You're cutting right through the middle. Okay, the reason for that is you could just cut up along the score line here and here so that you just have that little corner cut out. But when we go to fold this and you've got just that little square cut out, you end up with a really bulky corner, okay? Because that cardstock's overlapping. You don't want that. You want it to be nice and flat. So cutting through that corner, you're going to have a corner that comes together like this, so there is no extra bulk, okay? So let me fix this one. All right, and let me erase my pencil lines on here. Okay, so we've mitered our bottom, and then we're going to do the miter on the top, just like we did on our flaps. Okay, so just that little sliver off that top corner. Okay, we're going to fold and burnish. We're going to grab our book, and we're going to go ahead and line up where our pocket is going to go. So what I want to do is dry fit it. And I know I talked about that earlier, that dry fitting is basically just laying something down the way it's going to go with the glue on it to make sure it fits where it needs to be. Okay, you don't want it hanging off the edges. You don't want it, you know, going too far in this way and impeding where your your page turns. Okay, all is good here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put glue on this bottom tab. Okay, and again, I'm lining it up along the bottom and along this outside edge. I'm just going to burnish that down, and then I can fold this back, burnish it some more, and then I can put glue on these sides. The reason I do it that way, it just makes it easier to get your pocket in, get it lined up, and not be worrying about 3 tabs with glue on them and one of them, you know, sticking or, you know, getting glue everywhere if you're having to kind of adjust it. I just have always found it easier to do it this way. Okay, we'll do our two sides and fold and burnish those. And there is our pocket. Okay, I'm going to skip the front of page 3. I'm going to go to the back of page 3 and we're going to do our next one. So this pocket is going to be a side pocket. So it's going to run lengthwise down the page and we're going to put a flap on it. Okay, so I am going to grab my trimmer. I am going to grab a sheet of cardstock. So we need a strip that is 3.5 inches wide and 8 inches high. Okay, this is our pocket. And then we're going to put what I have always called a half page flap. So this is a flap that's going to mount in the middle of the top of the pocket, and it will flip up and down, and it will be even top to bottom when it flips. Okay, so for that little flip, we need a piece that is 3.5 by 3.5. I'm sorry, no, not 3.5, 3 by 3.5. That's not right either. 3 by 4. I'm telling you, I'm losing my mind. So 3 by 4. Okay. Now, we're going to score our pocket just like we did the first one. So again, we're starting with what is going to be our opening at the top of our scoreboard. We're going to score 1/2 inch. We're going to turn. We're going to score 1/2 inch again. And 1/2 inch on the other side. Okay. For our flap, since I've got the scoreboard out, we're going to put the 4-inch side at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's go ahead and miter our pocket. So again, we're going through that bottom corner where those score lines cross so that we don't have a bunch of bulk in the corners, so that our pocket sits nice and flat. And then we're going to miter at the top. Okay, and then fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Somehow, I don't think I folded that right. You know what? It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to grab my book. I'm going to turn it sideways, and we're going to put glue on this long tab. Okay, and line it up the outside edge of that page. Okay, and then we can come in and do our sides. I can wipe that off. That just went where it's not supposed to go. Okay. All right. So our 1/2 page flap, we're going to miter just like we did our other flaps. We are going to fold and burnish. And we're going to make sure it's going to fit the way we want it to before we put any glue on it. So I'm going to set it on top of my pocket all the way to the bottom. And when I unfold it, it should go all the way to the top, which it does, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to fold that over. We're going to put glue down. We're going to line up down here at the very bottom. And burnish that down. So that little flap will go back and forth like that. Super, super easy. Okay, so next up, we are going to do a pocket with a closure on the front, inside cover. So for this one, we need a piece that is, what is this? Okay. 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. This is literally why I don't like this trimmer, because it's really hard to see that 1/2 inch at 6.5. Okay. Our flap that's going to go down over the top of this is going to be 4.5. So I probably have a smaller one I can cut down. 4.5 by 5.5. Okay. Again, we'll start with the pocket. We're going to start with the long side. So, well, if we were having this being like a tall, skinny pocket, whatever side is your opening is what side you're going to start at the top of the scoreboard. Let's just make sure we're actually lined up. Okay, so 1/2 inch, turn it, 1/2 inch, turn, and 1/2 inch. So you may be wondering with this and with the belly band, why I don't just do 1/2 inch and then come over and come in 1/2 inch from this side. Because every so often your paper will be slightly longer than you think it is. If you're just scoring with the one side and turning it as you go, then it's going to score more evenly. Okay, it's about the only way I can think to explain that. Okay, so for our flap, we want 4.5 inches at the top, so 5.5 inches down the side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay. Can you believe how fast this is going? I told you this was not hard. Okay, so again, we're going to miter through where our score lines intersect. We're going to fold and burnish. And we're going to put this down all the way on the bottom. So again, just like we did with our other two pockets, we are going to start with just the bottom flap. We're going to go all the way down, all the way to the outside edge, all the way to the bottom. Okay, and then we can come in and get the glue on our sides and glue those down. Okay, we'll flip it upside down so we can put our flap on. Our flap, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to miter. We're going to fold and burnish. And this one will be a really easy one to line up because it's the same width as the pocket, and it's going to come all the way from the top. If you wanted to, you could mat this. You could move this down so you have a little strip of your pattern paper up here and then something different down below. But we're not going to get that fancy yet. Okay. And there you go. All right. So we've got a flap. We've got a belly band. We've got overlapping flaps. We've got a pocket. We have another element we're going to do here. We have our 1/2 page flap on our side loading pocket. We have our large pocket with a closure. Okay. Next up, we're going to do a waterfall. So come back for the next video and we'll walk through the easiest way to do a waterfall.